Well, we're back from a day fully outside, and I'm such a homebound that when I spend the entire day outside, like today, I come home and I'm utterly exhausted, and that's exactly what's happening right now. But before I sit down and get into the couch where it's 10 times harder to get up from, Kenny's already out here cutting some chicken. I have all of my little setup here. We ended up going to Culver City, which is an area that has a Brazilian supermarket that Kenny and I always go to pick up some Brazilian necessities. And yesterday I really wanted to make brigadeiro, and I realized that I had ran out of condensed milk. So we saw an apartment today in the area and said, you know what, let's just pass by the supermarket and pick up some essentials that we are missing at the house. So picked up my condensed milk, love it, from Moça, which is the best condensed milk in my opinion. It is the Brazilian branded one. And then also some creme de leite, necessary to make brigadeiro in my opinion. And then some 100% cacao. So I got this from, let me just clip this on so I could walk and talk. Got this from the Lazy Acres supermarket. This is just, you could probably find this in any supermarket in the baking aisle. It's 100% cacao, but for brigadeiro you need anywhere from 50 to 100. So in that range is perfectly fine. And then we also got some sprinkles. This one, specifically this one, which I got at the Brazilian market, is my favorite. It's kind of like the flat square ones versus, I also picked this up yesterday because I didn't think we were gonna find that one, but we did. But this one is like the regular sprinkles. So I'm probably gonna mix both of them. They're essentially the same thing, but the other one, I don't know why, but the shape to me makes it taste different, but they really aren't different at all. And then tonight we're gonna have stroganoff, Brazilian stroganoff. So Kenny's cutting the chicken, gonna get that started soon, but gonna do the brigadeiro first because that's super quick, and I also wanted to give some time for it to cool. So I'm gonna show you guys how I do this. It's one of the simplest desserts that you could do that is so yummy. And I also bought some strawberries so we could have it with, which I don't know if y'all know, but in Brazil there is this thing called strawberry inside covered with brigadeiro, which is so yummy. But I'm not going to do all that because it is a little bit harder and it takes some more time because you have to let the brigadeiro cool, and it's a whole thing. I'm not going to do all that. I think I'm going to do one that I saw on TikTok that is super simple, that you just literally bake it in the pot. And brigadeiro, I'm going to just start quickly doing my amazing Brazilian rice. I already put in the pot here. Let me show you guys. I already put in this little rice pot my oil, and now I'm going to add in just some minced garlic. Honestly, the preference here, I do a lot, by the way, a lot of garlic. The preference in terms of garlic, I honestly don't really love these containers, but this is all I had. I ran out of actual garlic, but if you have actual garlic, fresh garlic, in my opinion, is the best. And you're just gonna let that rock for a little bit. Basically, I'm able to kind of do my measurements. So I do about a cup of a mug like this. And this cooks pretty fast, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put this in right away. And then I'm just gonna fry this rice in the fried garlic and just fry it a little bit, making sure that the entire rice is covered in that fried garlic oil. Once that's done, and I put two of these size, basically whatever cup you use for your rice. So let's say you use a smaller, just drinking glass of quantity of rice, you're gonna do the same glass of water. So 1 cup of rice in whatever cup that you use, and then 2 of the same mug water. And now I'm just gonna let this cook in that nicely golden garlic water, I mean. I'm gonna open up I got this from the Brazilian store, but you could really find this anywhere. Just canned corn. I love corn in my rice. It's something my mom would always do, and it's so nostalgic, especially when I'm making stroganoff of corn juice. So I'm just gonna rinse, I'm just gonna rinse that. Growing up, my mom would make this quite often, and I used to love just opening this up and just having this as a snack, like just eating it right out of the can. It's so yummy. I love corn so much. And I take all the water out. I don't like putting the juice in here. I think that's a little gross, but to each their own. Just let that cook while we do the other things. Kenny already cut the chicken. And then before I cover this, I'm just gonna season this with just some salt. And this is really just to taste. I don't know the actual measurement. It's almost one of those things that I just like felt. It's like intuitive to me at this point. So it's really hard for me to like tell you guys exact measurements of things. It's literally all kind of like muscle memory. But that's about how much salt I put in. I think a good rule of thumb for me is like putting enough that covers the entire surface, like so the entire diameter of your pot. I just put enough that covers that whole thing. That's my general rule of thumb when I tell Kenny how to make rice for me or anything. I usually just tell him to kind of do that, like focusing on the whole diameter, getting some salt. He also put in here some pão de queijo. We're having a real Brazilian night, let me tell you. Okay, so for the ooh, my goodness. Okay, there you go. Okay, so for the brigadeiro part of our meal tonight, you're gonna need some chocolate sprinkles. I like these. I don't know if you could find these in an American store. I couldn't. I found this from the Brazilian market here in Culver City in LA. But basically these are kind of like flat sprinkles. These types, I found this one at Lazy Acres. So this is what you would find in most supermarkets, and this is just as fine. Like this is chocolate sprinkles, and this is essentially the same thing, but this is like the ones that a lot of the Brazilian, like in Brazil, brigadeiros often have this type. It's more of like a flat sprinkle. It's super yummy. I love this one. I don't know why, but for some reason the shape makes a difference to me. In terms of chocolate, you could use like a bar of chocolate. I've seen people use both like powder and chocolate bars. So whatever is your preference. I'm just using this today, and if you're gonna do the powder, make sure that it's 100%, between 50 to 100%. That is like the rule of thumb, is 50 to 100 is a good range. I got 100%. That's all they really had at the supermarket, so I just got this one. And this is a good brand. I really like their chocolates, so I'm excited to try that. And then you're gonna need condensed milk. So typically the measurement for this, again, when it comes to this, I think it's about 3 to 4 tablespoons. I'm gonna just triple check on TikTok is how I find these things, but how I learned how to make it is just a few tablespoons of that, 2 condensed milk cans. This one, again, I got from the supermarket, the Brazilian supermarket, but you could find any condensed milk from the baking section of a grocery store. And then this too, this is a little different. This is essentially cream, but this is the Brazilian branded cream. I think you can find this at some American supermarkets. It's gonna look slightly different. This one I got from the Brazilian market, so I like it. I love using Brazilian cream, especially when we do stroganoff. It's like essential for me. But these are a general good rule of having is 2 condensed canned milks and then 1 cream, just to make it creamier. And then you're gonna need 1 tablespoon of whatever butter that you need, and that also helps with the texture. So let's do it. In your pot, you are going to, where is my can opener? Here it is. Okay, so you're going to open your condensed milk. I always start with the condensed milk, pouring it in there. Oh my God, this thing is, it's so good. Like as a child, my mom would always have condensed milk in the house, and something that we would always do too whenever my dad would buy ice cream is, let's see, let's check on this punch cage. Okay, this punch cage was good. Let me take it out before it burns. Oh my God, that is actually so perfect. Look at that. Gorge. Okay, I'm just gonna put it here because I have no room. That's one thing that our apartment is missing for sure, is more counter space. But that is not a problem for now. I need a spoon. And let's see, can I use this? No, I'm gonna use this because I need to also mix it with this. Okay, I'm just gonna use a wooden spoon. Actually, I think I'm gonna use a slanted one, but still wooden. Okay, open this up and open this up. Trying to grab it. Okay, there we go. So open it up. Ooh, pour this out, and then we could turn this off. All right, look how pretty that is. Come on, today. And when I was little, when we used to have ice cream at home, I would mix literally Nesquik with this stuff and pour it on top of strawberry ice cream. And it was the most divine thing ever. Obviously probably so bad for you, but so good. I'm gonna turn it on too high yet because I do want to just get these things all mixed. A bunch of different types of brigadeiro flavors, and that's one thing that Brazilians know how to do, is really yummy desserts, basically all based off of some version of condensed milk. Condensed milk is very popular in Brazil. Pretty much all cakes contain it in some form, and brigadeiro obviously that's like the core of it. That's kind of what it looks like, and it's actually super watery. So when I do this, I like to, this is on, so give it a good mix. I like to basically scoop out the cream part because the water tends to be a little too much. Let me actually pour some of the water out. And then you just pour that in there. It's so pretty. And this really just helps with the texture. It makes it a little bit more creamy, and it gives that like professional feel to it. All right, and then I'm gonna go in already and put 3 tablespoons. Let me grab my measuring thing, because you really just need to have this be super mixed, super well. Okay, I'm gonna do 3 tablespoons of 100% cacao powder. That's good. And then just mix this. Yeah, you can just throw it in here. There you go. About a tablespoon of butter. And you're just gonna keep mixing this and don't stop. So okay, it's been about 7 or 8 minutes, and you can see it's starting to bubble very slightly, but I have been just mixing it nonstop. That's like one of the secrets here, is you cannot stop mixing it, and you don't forget to do the corners too. This is like where it gets stuck the most. So you just keep mixing it, and it's gonna start to boil, and you'll know when it's done. They'll show you what the consistency also looks like when it's done, but you want it to get it to a boil, and you can see it's like pretty much a little bit thicker than when we started, and that's what we want. We want this to thicken up a little bit, but you have to keep mixing. That is the trick here. When you bake a cake, you lick the spatula. It's exactly what we do with brigadeiro, but this is really hot, so gotta blow on it. Oh man, it's actually perfect, not too hot. Oh my God. It's really rich. Want to try it?
No, I actually don't.
Very good, but let me show you. I didn't have plastic wrap, but traditionally you would want to put this in a plastic wrap and just wrap it good. But we just are using some wax paper. And I'm just gonna wrap this really good so it's really in here and tight. And I'm gonna put this in the fridge and just let it cool. Okay, now moving into the stroganoff. I just put a little bit of oil in here, so I'm just gonna turn up the heat. And then we're gonna add a good amount of garlic, and same deal as with the rice. Like, I like a lot. And if you have fresh garlic, so much better, but we will do with what we have. All right, my garlic is going. Love that. Ooh, also this is the chicken Kenny cut. We just do chicken breast that we get from the farmer's market. This one was a bone-in chicken. So Kenny usually takes it off and cuts it into little dices like this. But if you want to get like boneless chicken breast is really the best and easiest way to go about it. And you just dice it, cut it into like little pieces. Now while I'm waiting for my garlic to cook here, I'm just checking on my rice and it's perfect. I like it with a little bit of the sides starting to go. So that's when I'm going to just turn this off and pull this out of the heat so it doesn't keep cooking but it stays warm in there. And now this is ready for some chicken. So just tossing that right in there. And then gonna give it a good mix in here so it gets all the garlic everywhere and some olive oil in all of the chicken. I'm just gonna turn up the heat a little bit to a medium high. And I'm just gonna let it cook. No. Now, although I'm adding some tomato sauce and cream to this, which will give it plenty of flavor, I also like to season my chicken with some salt and just black pepper. You can see there's no more pink. All of it is cooked through. And this is the step where I add my tomato sauce. So after I season it, give it another good little toss in there, and then I come in with my tomato sauce. I'm going to cook this until it gets a pretty consistent bubble throughout, so it still needs a little bit of time to heat up. We got it to a consistent boil throughout like this, and that's when I went ahead and added the cream. Now this Brazilian cream is really thick, and this is what I love about it, but we have done it before with like heavy cream, like heavy whipping cream, and it's good. It is a little bit more on the liquidy side. That's why I love the Brazilian one, because it's so thick. And I don't know if there's like something that's equivalent to this, at least I'm not aware of it, but I'm sure there's something that is pretty close in terms of just cream thickness on the market. But this one, if you ever have a chance to go into a Brazilian market near you, definitely check it out. They have some really good stuff. And this is one of the favorites that I love. You could also do this recipe with cake, adding cream to the cake, and it makes it super delicious too. But once the cream is mixed into this, it's pretty much ready. This is the perfect color that I would say for a stroganoff. Well, just like that. Stunning these are. I'm so proud of this batch. I have some butter in there. It's so delicious. And especially with some strawberries. Like take a bite and then take a bite. Oh my god. Divine. Divine. And Kenny's making some cafezinho. And we're having our bam.